If you ever wanted to change your drawing after you finished it, there is no need to redraw any parts of it thanks to Clip Studio's Puppet Warp function. The Puppet Warp allows you to change the poses of your illustrations even after they're completed. You can adjust the body to a more appealing pose or to fit the image size or composition without redrawing anything. Where to find the Puppet Warp? On Clip Studio's Simple mode, go to the Layer palette and select the layer that contains the image you want to distort. Tap the Move/Transformation icon on the toolbar on the left. You'll see a dialog box that appears on the corner with some options. Click on the tab that says Puppet Warp. If you did it right, the drawing will now be covered by a mesh made out of triangles. The mesh will automatically cover everything that's on that layer. Your drawing does not need to be all in one single layer to be able to use the Puppet Warp on it, by the way. If yours is separated into different layers, simply put them all into one group before using the warp. To do that, tap the folder icon at the top of the layer palette. You'll see the folder appears in the Layers section. Now, long press on the layer you want to move and drag it into the folder. And open the Puppet Warp on the folder, just like we did earlier on the single layer. Prepare the warp. Now we are going to place pins on the mesh. Pins are these blue and gray dots. You can create them anywhere simply by touching the mesh. For now, let's place them around the main joints of the character, like the knees and elbows. If you make a mistake and want to delete a pin, you can just tap on it again to make it disappear. Manipulating the pins. There are two ways to use the pins. Drag the pin. You can distort parts of the drawing by dragging and moving the center of the pin. Or instead, you can drag the pin's outer cycle to distort that part in a rotating motion. If the mesh makes it confusing to understand what you are doing, you can hide it by tapping on the Show Mesh option on the dialog box. After you have made all your adjustments, tap OK on the upper right corner of the screen. The transformation is done. It's as easy as that. However, not all drawings will work well with these few pins. Often, other parts of the body will be distorted while you play with the pins. So here are some tips to make the most out of the Puppet Warp function. Pins on still parts. Besides placing pins on all the parts you wish to move, place pins also on parts you want to stay fixed, such as the feet, the neck, or the head. It may be hard to imagine how the body parts will move when you use the Puppet Warp for the first time, so place as many pins as you need to make sure some parts won't get distorted when you're moving or rotating others. If later you realize there's a pin you don't need, remember you can delete pins while you're transforming the image. Enclosing with selection area. Another way to get more control over the movement is by making a selection. If you only want to move certain joints, you can use the Lasso tool to select only a section of your drawing and then use the Puppet Warp on it, so you won't have to deal with as many pins. When using this method, place extra pins along the boundary of the selection area to prevent these parts from moving. Changing the pin order. When parts are distorted, sometimes they will overlap in ways you didn't intend. For example, as shown in this figure, the back leg ended moving on top of the other, creating a very uncomfortable pose. In such cases, you can adjust the order of the pins by selecting that pin, then using the pin order buttons in the dialog box to move that part above or below the other. Keeping the image outline intact. In areas where outlines are thin, such as the tips of the hair, the mesh may get cut off, causing the image to look very distorted. If this happens to you, you can widen the mesh range by adjusting the Expand Selection slider in the dialog box. You'll see that now the mesh reaches farther than the line art, ensuring it captures all the fine details of those pixels. Puppet Warp is a very convenient tool to make small adjustments on the poses of a finished drawing without having to redraw anything, as it would happen when you try to do this with the free transformation option instead. You can use the Puppet Warp to make different versions of the same drawing, to test compositions, or save them to make simple animations later, especially if you distribute key elements of the drawing into different layers. Puppet Warp can even be useful while you're still sketching, to test and play with the poses of the sketch in a more intuitive way. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful.